I grew up at the dinner table, you know, having my grandmother lament having to sell some of her land to sustain the home farm. Grew up in the town of Wolfville, but my heart was out here in the country with my grandmother. You know, I would come down here after school and catch snakes and ride my pony. My grandmother had a big market garden and an apple farm. It was all cultivated using compost and animal manures. She taught me, there wasn't called biodynamics to her, it was just called farming. In the downturn of the apple industry, they sold land in the 60s to basically sustain their house and to provide them a bit of an income. I was raised hearing it at numerous dinner tables, you know, this, oh, it's so bad, we had to sell this land, and this was just seemed like a dark cloud over our family. I remember saying, you know, I'm gonna finish what you started, I'm gonna get it all back. You know, legacy was more important than currency. Amount paid down, $1,500. Mortgage held by C.R. Chipman, $6,000. Allegedly, the year that they bought the farm, there was enough apples left on the trees. In about 3 months after they bought the farm, they picked the apples and sold them, and more than half paid for the farm. So that's how they started their farming here on this land. And then it very quickly went downhill from there. And took my grandmother's farm over. I was 19 years old. When I got here, the farm was sold right back to 9 acres of land and the house. And there was no barns, there was no infrastructure. It was just the bare bones of what was there. It was difficult in those days because, you know, I was trying to raise a young family too, and I had young children, and there was a lot of sacrifices that had to get made.
He was very young when I was born. He was about 20 years old. I think he did a pretty tremendous job as a father. He always worked off of the farm too as a funeral director for several years, just to make it work.
We've been 7 generations here. When Rachel started and made the decision to join us, it was a game changer, and it made everything very real. I certainly wanted a family member to succeed me. What I wanted, I was getting, and it changed the way I felt in the pit of my stomach. It was really through, you know, saving and sacrifice that we were able to acquire the land back. We were able to buy 6 houses back on the farm that surrounded our farm that was sold off over the years. It's really great when my grandmother was still alive and satisfying to me, and it actually fueled me to keep going and to be more aggressive. When I had the opportunity to farm it the way I wanted to farm it, certainly I went back to my youth. I went back to the way my grandmother taught me. And so it put us into thinking about organics, and so we pursued organics. And when we first planted them, they completely defoliated. The leaves fell right off of them. They had downy mildew so bad in the first season that we said, oh my Christ, what have we done? We thought everybody was advising us correctly then, at that point, to go against organics and biodynamics. We stayed true to the vision, and now the plants are very, very healthy. They've developed what I call an immunity. I'm happy to say that our snakes are coming back and our trees are looking green again, but it takes several generations to get the land back to the way it was. That'll be your job. This was in my heart. What I was doing was a pursuit outside of monetary gain. It was back basically to get back our land and to provide our future generations of our family an opportunity to farm, provide them an opportunity to steward the land. Felt very proud as a family to be here, to be on this particular piece of land, and it's almost unexplainable. It's almost a pride, you know, that is, you know, now it's definitely part of our family. Like we're no longer nomads. We're farming in various different farms around the valley. We're here. This is our land, and this is our namesake, and this is our legacy.